Yeah, so I'm gonna just the quick freestyle video how to avoid crossing paths with psychopaths, narcissists, and energy vampires. All right, so number one will be stay away from dating sites. Dating apps and dating sites are full of the dregs. It's full of people that are looking for attention, looking for people to manipulate, looking for supply. There are some real people, genuine people looking for friendship, looking for devotion, love, and connection. But the majority of the people that are on Tinder, Bumble, all these sites, they're literally looking for hookup, sex, looking for meaningless attention grabbing, looking dopamine. Just it's just a cesspool full of like swamp of mainly people that society don't want, really, to be honest with you. Sad to say, but it's not people that are high quality, work hard, looking for you know genuine relationships on there. Most dating sites are literally just a place. It's just like the D's playground, the Lucy's playground. A lot of people who have mental problems are on those things. Second is to stay out of bars, clubs. A lot of people that are going out clubbing on the weekend or after work on a Friday just to let their hair down, or tend to be, again, soulless people. They tend to be narcissistic, they tend to be bipolar, people who've got mental health problems. Not to say that there are not people that go out for drinks and socializing and just letting their head down, but generally speaking, a lot of the people that tend to frequent these establishments are going there literally to find someone they're looking for a warm body, looking for someone to go and sleep with, have unsolicited, have you know non-connects, just sex, and that's not always, people can do what they want, it's up to them. But in terms of trying to avoid these psychopaths who've got no conscience, they don't want to connect with you, they're creating dark energy, they want to just end up siphoning your energy to manipulate you, to steal from you, to just ruin your life. A lot of them, you meet them in bars and clubs. The third thing of how to avoid these people is to try to vet people. I think on the F&F podcast they're talking about the whole facts. So find out as much as you can about a person before you get into anything with them. Like, look on their social media. There's that thing with Logan Paul, like someone's history. You actually go through their history with a fine-tooth comb. If you have to hire someone to go through someone's history, I've made this mistake many times, but you really have to slow down and work out who these people are that you're dealing with. A lot of the time, look at their career history as well, education, what kind of jump. If there's someone that's always jumping from here to there, they never settle, they never live one place for long, they're always having problems. Yeah, you find a lot of these people have mental health problems. I heard this somewhere actually on another video, and someone said it, and I'm like, that's a bloody good point. So I'm gonna just reiterate it here. And what this lady was saying, she was like, try to go on people that are on the same level as you. And I saw that, I was like, what is that? Like, raw, like, that's so true. Like, when I think about the number one relationship and two and three, these people needed something from me. Like, number two, literally just like my friend group and my status and what I was doing. She literally infiltrated my whole group. And you could say, yeah, she knew a lot of the people before, but there was more of like a type of people that was hanging around me, and they ended up joining her side. They were never my friends anyway, genuinely, but number one used me to get her house, so she needed a deposit. She needed someone to leech off, to pay for housing, where to live. A lot of these narcs and psychopaths, they're homeless. They don't have anywhere to live. They're always blowing up situations, blowing up. I remember when she moved in with me, she was moving out of one place, and as she was moving out, she was arguing with someone. Her coat got stuck in the lift and her coat ripped. It was like a kind of physical altercation with this flatmate, all of this like toxic like aggression. And I was just like, I, I should have seen that and just thought, raw, this girl's got a whole lot of issues, man. Like, it wasn't done peacefully and calm. It was just like all this like raw. So the lady in this video, she was like saying go with someone on the same level with you. Now that doesn't always work. Like obviously you get narcs that are successful, you get narcs that are CEOs that are good at their job and have stuff going for them. But a lot of the time, these people tend to need you for something. They need to like someone to fix their life. They need people to live, a place to stay. I've had times when I've not been organized, but I always sort myself out. I can be independent. These people, they're like the worst codependents out there. They always need someone to relay their life problems on a shoulder, blah, blah, blah. So if you find someone that's on your level, like if you got your own apartment, your own space, hopefully they got their own apartment, they got their own space. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to use this just as an analogy, but I remember when I went on a date with someone and she had like a very old iPhone. Now it doesn't matter, like technology, I don't care about what phones you have or what technology you have, but sometimes little things like that, if you can kind of gauge like where people are at, like if they can't really afford to buy the drinks and the food, their technology is really old, their phones all smashed up, blah blah, you kind of have to judge. I know it sounds really shallow, but you have to look at people and think, if they're like doing well and they're up there, you can look at them and think they're all put together, their things are modern, and they're like, you know, they're like in and around where things are, where they are. They're not like, you know, like 7 or 8 models back on their technology or their clothes or whatever it may be. They're just little things. You think this person, they're not quite there, like smashed up. Like these things do represent like how you look after something. You can even have a pet and your pet's clean, your pet is like well mannered, well behaved. You think, okay, this person has a pet, he looks after the pet, he's old in years but he looks good. But if your pet is like, the leg is, you know, he's sluggish, you know, one bit of the leg is hanging down here, the pet is not clean, you know, you can look at it, this is not quite what you're looking for. So that lady, I saw it on some video, she was like, try to get someone on the same level as you. I know it's hard because a lot of, especially, I won't say this, but a lot of women, they always see themselves as the more valuable player. So a lot of guys who have a lot of value in doing good things, but because the woman tend to have like lots of men that are online liking her photos, she starts thinking she's like the more valuable person, perceived value, even though you want to both come mutual, respect one another, and be, you know, connect on a mutual plane. But as things are in this modern time, things tend to be about, you know, competition, and you know, a lot of people operate from the ego. So it's like, what am I? Who's better? Who can I do better? Can I practice my hypergamist nature? Can I jump to a better looking person, more money, more status, blah blah blah. But definitely look for someone, if you on the same, you know, path. I know sometimes it works when you, especially for guys, it's the dynamic if the lady's maybe a bit lower than you. But in general, you don't want to be going for someone where you have to fund their whole situation. They have to be bringing something to the table. So a lot of reciprocity is a good sign that you're not getting into that. I think that was 4. I think that was pretty good. Fifth one, I'm kind of doing these off head. How to avoid these psychopaths. I would say also some of the shops, like coffee shops and things like that. I know sometimes I go coffee shop, buy a nice coffee, but you could just be transactional, buy coffee out. A lot of time, I'm not sure why it is, but I find a lot of narcs work in coffee shops. You know, these sort of artisan coffee shops, they're the ones making your coffee or supplying you. So maybe make your coffee from home, or just be very transactional. Get your coffee, buy it in and out. Don't give these people supply. If they're down to devalue you, ignore them. Get your coffee and leave. So that's some things there. So you try to avoid these sociopaths, psychopaths, and keep your empathy, your gratitude, your love, your devotion for yourself and for people that deserve it. Really, that's it. Peace. See you later.